All right, so ladies and gentlemen, let's keep going on this worksheet, please. Now we're back. We'll start with, hopefully you guys finish the topic 4, and then we'll do 5, and we'll see how far we can get in this class, just so I can see if we can get a lot of it done. Tomorrow we'll be giving you guys maybe an opportunity to start the test corrections beforehand, instead of doing it afterwards, okay? All right, so part 5 of this, okay, we had talked about, now this is going to be on the test. All right, you guys struggled, this is part of the first, if you guys remember when we did this last chapter 3, I asked you guys to graph by intercepts, okay, where all you had to do was identify the intercepts. So on this one here, here are the following equations, okay, so it would be x plus y equals 4, then you have 2x minus y equals 2. And then the third equation is going to be 9x plus 12y equals negative 36. Now, I will do the one in the middle. I'll pick number 2 to start with. And then I want you guys to try to please do number 1 and number 3. Okay? So on here, what you want to do is split this in half. Because remember what you're trying to do when you're graphing this is you're trying to find your y-intercepts. Okay, if you remember what a y-intercept is and then what your x-intercept is. All right, remember the y-intercept is vertical. So that means your x is going to be 0. Remember your x-intercept is horizontal, which means your y is going to be a 0. So that's this basic setup. And then you plug in the value into that equation. So that way when we walk through this, you guys understand that this is going to turn into a 2, and they have a little 0 right here, and it'd be negative y equals 2. Then the value is what? Be negative y equals 2, or whoops. You got negative y equals 2. Can you leave it like that? The answer is what? No, you can never leave your variable negative, so you swap it around. So it'd be negative 2. Okay, so we know up here then that the answer is going in here is negative 2. All right, and then the same thing goes with the x. If we know our y is a 0, and you put a 2 in there, then what do you have? Okay, then you know at this point you have 2x equals 2, and then you guys can simply do the math on this, please. X equals 1. So your points are 0, negative 2, and then you'd go over 1, and then there is your actual line. Okay, so what I want you guys to do, please, is try to do number 1 is simple. You plug a 0 into both of those equations, they add up pretty quick. That comes out to be pretty simple. Okay, 3 is more of the challenge. So try to make sure you guys can tell me what your x and y intercepts are, because you can find those and their whole numbers. Makes it easier to graph, okay, especially as we move forward this year. All right, any questions on that? All right, break those down real quick, please. Try to see if you can find the x and y's by doing the same thing. Because it's very important that you guys can graph these by hand. Okay, the top ones and even those in the middle. So if you're struggling with anything, let me know. Heck, if you're even struggling to write something down. Coming along well, Joe? Doing well? Writing everything down? You understand everything? Well, this would just be, so when you draw the line, you're looking for a point. This point starts with 0.
Because how do you know if it's on one? We're gonna find a point on one. No. Okay, so this is what you gotta understand. When I ask you, what is a y-intercept? What does that mean? Okay, so what do we know? If it goes to the y, what is the x-coordinate always going to be? 0. See, that's what you have to understand. Is that if anything for the y-intercept, x is always going to be 0. That's right. So what you're doing is you're just taking the decision you know is x is going to be 0. See what this? We don't care if we know this one, but we know what. One point of y-intercept, my x is going to be what? 0. So it'd be 9 times what? So you already put that in there, you just get the stuff. Nothing else changes. You don't know what anything else is. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to you? Okay, it doesn't. So you understand. Before you write anything else, you have to understand it doesn't matter what. What line and anything doesn't matter. If I'm asking you where you have to 0, this line is minus x has to be 0. So if you're somewhere on this line here, the y is called 0 because it's not going to be yeah, that's right. Y is -3.
So that's perfect, Ms. Jackson. All right. A couple things. Same thing, all right? Remember, how this works is, and so if you are confused, let me explain. Just make sure you understand. Before you begin anything, when I ask when is something on the y-intercept, it doesn't matter if you know nothing at all. It's just, ladies and gentlemen, the point is on what? It's somewhere on this line, okay? Which means what? My 0 coordinate is always, my x coordinate is always going to be what? 0. Okay, it could be 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4, 0, 10,000. Doesn't matter. The x is always what? 0. Okay, and when it's the x-intercept, it means it's on this line here, which means that no matter what, my y-coordinate, vertically speaking, is always what? 0. That never changes. It could be, this could be 1,000, this could be 1,000,000, but no matter what, the y-intersection is always going to be on the x-axis, okay? So that's how you initially start these. Now this one's simple because that would be 0 plus y equals 4. So y is 4. And then this one's simple because it would be x plus 0 equals 4. So x equals what? 4. So this one is relatively easy, where both points are 4s. Okay, so you know you have 0, 4, and like that. And there's your graph. Okay, now the last one is a little bit more, is tricky, but it's not that difficult, where it's the same thing, okay? Your y-intercept, and then your x-intercept. Okay, we know that at y, my x value is going to be 0 because it's not going anywhere, and we know this one's going to be 0 on the y because it's not going anywhere. Do I know where on the line? No. That's what your job is to find out. Okay, so when you plug this value in here, it's 9 and a 0. plus 12y equals negative 36. And then when y is 0, it would be 9x plus 12 times. So you can see, hopefully you guys can see what you get. Where this would cancel out. 12y equals negative 36. And this would be 9x equals negative 36. Most of you at this point know the next step, which is to do what? Divide, right? This side we divide by what? 12. This side we divide by 9. And then put in a calculator if you have to. Just know in the end, y is negative 3. And then x is what? Negative 4. All right, so I go 0, negative 3. I go over negative 4, 0. And there's my points. Okay? Any questions? The reality is you guys have to be able to do these and set these up. Okay? Any questions on that? Yeah.
Is it okay if I just do like the way for the first one? I just like took away the 9 on the other side and did it like
Sure.
divided by 12 and stuff.
Yep. All right, the next little setup, horizontal, vertical, simple enough. Just want to make sure you guys know when x equals negative 1 and then y equals 4, what kind of line is that? So what it means is that when x is negative 1, where's x? It's on this line here. So if x is negative 1, that means no matter what point I put on there, x is always what? Negative 1. So I go over and down. What point is this? Negative 1, negative 2. This up here is negative 1, 3. So this is a what type of line? Vertical. Okay. Some of you messed that up because you're not understanding what is it asking you. Okay. It's asking you if it's saying y is 4. I go up 1, 2, 3, 4. Y equals 4. However, it also means every y coordinate is 4. So if I go over 4, up 4, or if I go negative 3, 4, does it matter which way I go? No, everything is 4, and this is a horizontal line. Now the key is the slopes, right? The very bottom of this, the slope of line 1 is what? Undefined or 0?
Undefined.
It is undefined. So make sure you guys put on. And that means the other one is what? 0. Horizontal line is always 0. Vertical is always undefined. Okay, now I gotta find the other one. So we're on topic 7 now, right? Okay. Now on this is where it's gonna start getting into just more writing equations, just so you guys understand. So let me erase this before I move it all over. All right, writing equations given a point and a slope. Now, this is the kind of the precursor where I want to make sure you guys, understand what I want from you this year in this unit. It's to be actually to take this, what you guys did on the test, which is to take this piece here and to actually create equations. And then this one right here, number 2 is negative 6, 1. And then your slope is 1/2. All right. Here's the beginning of where I want to make sure you guys can take this not just to a linear equation, but ladies and gentlemen, you should have enough room if you make it split a double column here, is to give me the slope intercept and then the standard. This is where most of you went wrong yesterday. and you went rogue, and then you decided, I can't do this, and everything went bad, horribly wrong. Okay, on the quiz. Make sure, if you need to write it down like this, please do. It's always y minus. And then what is my x value? It's -5, or my y is -5, equals your slope, and then it's always x minus, and I'm throwing in a number 3. So that's how it's supposed to look. However, what happens? Negative and a negative makes this what? Positive. This right here is where most of you went wrong right off the gate. That 3 just plugs in. I don't have a negative there, so I can get rid of the parentheses there. There's my first equation. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what do? Get rid of the parentheses, PEMDAS. Y plus 5 equals -4x. Negative and a negative is a positive 12. Some of you actually missed that. Okay? Good to see Tyler. All right, on this, -5. -5 is the last step. Now, here's where you stop, and it'd be what? Plus. So there's your linear slope intercept formula. However, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to go one more step. So on the right, I want you to make it standard form. So this is slope intercept. How do I make that standard form?
Plus x.
I just basically move the x to the other side. Yesterday on the equation, I saw somebody actually put, when it said, what are the integers of A, B, and C? Or make sure or A, B, and C are integers. I saw somebody basically put in there 6, 7, and 8. I'm like, what the hell is that? Or they put in actual AX plus BY equals C. I'm like, that's not what we wanted. That student never does the homework, so he didn't understand actually what was asked of him. Okay, so for you guys, no, this piece would be just add 4x to both sides. And then this is it, standard form. 4x plus y equals what? 7. So there's your other form. Okay, the problem is most of you couldn't get there or didn't get there. And you missed this part. The next one is the one where if you can do it, by the way, Maya, Tyler's a former student. If you can do this, here's the reality, okay? Plug these in. Same principle applies. Y minus, and then this is BA 1 equals your slope, 1/2. And then it's x minus, and then you put your point in, -6. Now you get rid of your inner parentheses first. So you guys know it'd be y minus 1, x plus 6. That's how you get a plus 6. Okay, so if you, ladies and gentlemen, you struggled with how do you get a plus, I don't understand what it means, that's what it means. Okay, finish it off. Do the distribution. And then you would add the 1 to both sides. Okay, now here is a perfect example of a slope-intercept equation. However, yesterday on the quiz on Friday, I asked you to take this and make the standard form. How do I make this standard form? Y equals 1/2 x. What do you have to do to this equation? Multiply everything by 2, because you have to get rid of the fraction. It's not if you multiply everything by 1/2, what's 1/2 times 1/2? It's actually a quarter. If I have half of something and I take half of that, how much do I have left? A quarter. So you actually have to multiply by what? So if I have 1/2 here and 1/2 here, that's 2 of them. That would be the number what? 1. If you have 2 halves of a pizza, that's a whole pizza. Okay? So understand, you would multiply everything here by 2. So this would end up being 2y equals x plus 8. Most of you did not get this right. I would say maybe 10 of you did. And then the last step is subtract x. So you have negative x plus 2y equals 8. And that's it. Any questions on that? Standard form. That's the big difference between the two. Okay? Got to make sure you guys can do both, especially as we move forward. The last thing on the docket for today, I'll show you guys is, we'll do topic 8. All right, we're finding the slope next. Okay, so same principle applies on 8. All right, I think I gotta back this bad boy up one. I think it's this one right here. Let's see. Is it? Hey, it is. All right, 8. Simple setups. Okay. Finding, now you're given 2 points. Here are your 2 points. It's going to be 3, 1, -2, 6. Here's your first one. And then your other point that we're going to deal with here in a second is what? 0, 3. Five, 1. All right, here's what I want. What do we need? What are we missing? The slope. So we have to start from the what formula? The slope formula. y2 minus y1, x2, x1. You have to be able to solve the problems, guys, or identify what is the issue, what are you missing, what are the things that you have to go for. So I'll just do the second point. So it'll be 6 and a -2. And then it's the same. It's always a minus minus, 1 and a 3. Okay, so that would be a 5 over a -5, which can be divided into what? A -1. Okay, we have our slope. Now, and we have a point. So what do we use, ladies and gentlemen? How do you find y equals mx plus b? You use the slope formula. So I'd want you to write y minus y1. And then basically I want you to copy underneath of it what values you're putting in. Does it matter to anybody what point we use? No, so let's use the first one because it's got a 1 in it. That's always easier to do. And so it'd be y minus 1 equals a -1. And then it's x minus what? 3. Now you got to distribute. So it'd be y minus 1 equals a -x plus 3. Add 1 to both sides. You end up with there's your linear equation. Okay. Any questions on that? So here's the, and I know most of you, even if you had a question, you wouldn't speak up right now. And that's okay. The struggle is going to become as you move forward. If you don't want to speak up here, come after school for tutoring, please. To figure out what you need. And if you can't come after school because you're a busy bee or you always got stuff going on because you got extracurricular activities, then watch the videos on YouTube again. If that doesn't help you, search out another source like Khan Academy. Okay, if that doesn't help you, then basically make sure you get in here. Some of you don't have the extra time, and I understand that. Sometimes you have to make it extra time. All right, next one here. Let's do the other point, so that way I have a 0 on the back side. So that's going to be 1 and 5. By the way, make sure as you guys I'm seeing do this, that you guys follow along the same suit. I still see some of you trying to do this in your head. You'll go 1 and 3. Well, you'll do the top first, and then you'll do the bottom. You guys are swapping those numbers sometimes. Okay, so that's a -3 into 5. So there's my slope. So don't swap the numbers. Do the points straight up and down. Okay. Oh wait, did I do that wrong? Oh, it's 2. Sorry. And it's not negative. Sorry, 3 minus is -2. Wrong number. Like that. Okay. Now plug in a value. 0, 3. That seems easiest. So it's y minus, and then it'd be 3 equals negative x minus 0. Cool thing about that is it gets rid of the back end. As you go through, this is a operation that you guys should be able to do at this point. If you cannot, okay, which I understand it's a limitation to some people, this is the last thing that you guys need to understand. If you can do this, and do these well, and then to actually figure this out, ladies and gentlemen, you will be successful the rest of the semester. Add 3 to both sides. There's your answer. Okay. Now, what I would want you to do is on one like this, is tell me this is where I think a lot of you mess this part up. If I ask you to put this in standard form, if you have enough room to the right, please try to see if you can do this. Okay. What is my next step if I want to make that standard? I have to multiply everything by what number? 5. Okay. Now, I only do this so you guys understand it's each piece. So that means this is a 5y. That is a 5's cancel out, -2x. And then this is a plus 15. So in the end, when you subtract or when you add 2x to both sides, here's your standard form equation. This is what almost none of you got right. You can do this piece right here, this entire thing, starting from here down, all of this math, okay? The first semester will be, the end of the semester will be fine. If you cannot do this math, then ladies and gentlemen, you need to make sure you understand that it's going to be a struggle the rest of the way through. Okay? Does that make sense? Because we're going to go into systems of equations. We're going to go into inequalities that basically is just like this, except instead of an equal sign, it's the less than or greater than. So it's the exact same thing. So please make sure you get all these things done. Any questions? All right, tomorrow we'll do 9, and then we'll finish it up with the applications, and then we'll be done. And you guys will be able to do your test corrections after lunch. Everybody here? That's it? Part 3 will be tomorrow. All this is on Canvas, by the way, already. I believe I put it up as a student edition. You can print it out. Otherwise, please get one from me in class. Bye, Maya. Be safe and be well, young lady.